isn't it really, really nauseating to see all of the tributes pouring in to the fired ex-Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi? My gosh. My gosh. I mean, I understand being around for 100 years, having some longevity can give you longevity. It doesn't mean you're effective or good or accomplished or noble. Maybe they ought to build a statue to Nancy Pelosi on the Mall in Washington, D.C., and they can show her ripping up Trump's speech in one of the most shameless, tacky, grotesque acts of a political figure in the history of America. Or maybe they can show her clapping like a seal and mocking him. You know, nothing would make me happier than to see Trump's return to the Oval Office and know that she's sitting in her rocking chair, baying at the moon. The hatred these people have for Trump, and when you put things in perspective and you realize that all the really awful stuff is 2 years after he left office, all of a sudden it's like they just discovered that this guy is Dr. Evil up in his lair with the skinless cat on his lap. We got through 4 years just fine. I don't know. We had 2.5% inflation and interest rates that were they were giving away interest rates. Price of groceries was affordable. Gas was affordable. Border was being strengthened. The world feared us, respected us. But all of a sudden now, 2 years into the Biden presidency, we better stop Trump. And boy, Nancy Pelosi, we fired her, but she was one of the greatest of all time. Listen to Matthew Dowd, guy on MSNBC, praising Nancy Pelosi.
I mean, I agree with the president. She's the most consequential, effective speaker in my lifetime. She should be on everybody's GOAT list of leaders of the House of the entirety of our country's history. She has to be considered one of the greatest of all time. I think what I laud most about her, and I've always respected about her, even having been on the opposite side of her at times, is she's a true servant leader. I mean, in all of its manifestations, she served not for her own benefit, but for the benefit of others.
Excuse me. Pardon me. Servant leader. We got to find the clip. Yuri's been looking today. You got to find the clip of her walking down the halls of Congress with an NBC reporter. And the NBC reporter, as they're walking, they're doing one of those walk and talks. They always think that's so clever. Oh, let's walk and talk. Let's interview while we're moving the camera. And they're walking down the hall. And the reporter says, "You are the most important woman in government." And Pelosi corrects her. No. The most important woman in the United States. She literally says that on camera. Did you see it this morning? Anybody happen to watch the Today Show? I'm sorry. Forgive me. Who says that? You realize how shallow and empty and vapid and insecure you have to be to go tell everybody how important you are? No. I'm not just the most important woman in government. I'm the most important woman in America. Look at me. Look at how big my plane is. Look at me with my big gavel. Look at me ripping up Trump's speech. Aren't I brave? Aren't I strong, clapping like a seal? She's disgraced. And she is the disgraced, fired Speaker of the House. And I am so glad for that. I know the media wants you to think the Democrats won last week. They didn't. If the Democrats won, we'd be treated to Nancy braying about her fulfilled promise for the Democrats to hold control of the House, keep control of the House. They didn't. They got beat. And I don't give a rat's rear end if they got beat by 1 or 100. They lost. And Kevin McCarthy is going to be the Speaker of the House. And she got fired. She's the greatest of all. She's the GOAT. Yeah, she's a GOAT, all right. I just don't think GOAT means the same thing to me than it does to Matthew Dowd when it comes to Nancy Pelosi.